Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. My dear brothers and sisters, let's assume that you're praying behind the Imam and he stood for the 5th rak'ah. And in his mind, that's the 4th, and he continued. So in a normal situation that you will remind him by tasbih, إنما جعل التسبيح للرجال والتصفيق للنساء. So you will say subhanallah. If he maybe have a doubt or whatever and now he remembered, then he will go back in his position, of tashahhud, and then you know how he will continue his salah. So there's additional, part when he stood up, that's ziyada. But if he continue, what's your position in this? He stood for the 5th rak'ah and he continued. What you should do? You follow him. That's what you said. And you sit down. And, okay. What you said? What do you mean you fara? لا هذا جديد. Okay. So it depends. There are 5 different cases. Okay. So if you are sure that it's additional rak'ah and you follow him, your salah became invalid. Your salah is invalid. If you are sure that's additional rak'ah, you should not do anything additional salah when you intend that to add it. So cannot intend to add anything in salah, even if you are following the imam. So if you are sure that he's doing the additional rak'ah, then your salah invalid. Now, you are sure that it's additional rak'ah, but you interpreted his action with a goodwill. You thought maybe one of the rak'at he canceled, maybe he didn't recite al-Fatiha or he didn't recite in a proper way. So you assume that's you interpreted his action a different way. So anta muta'awwil. In this case, that's fine. Your salah is valid if you followed him. Now, if you are doubtful as well, you're not sure, and you followed him, your salah is valid. If you are jahil, ignorant, it is additional one, and you followed him, your salah became invalid. Okay? So, it depends on your situation. And now, if you know it's additional, and you never interpreted his, action with any goodwill, you never thought why he would, add the 5th one. There's no reason for that, and you kept, sitting. That's the right action for you. You sit there. However, you wait for him until he will make salam. Do not leave before him. You will sit there in your position until he will make his 5th, according to you it's 5th rak'ah, and then he will continue his salah. The moment when he salam, you make salam with him. If you made salam before him, and intentionally that it's you started with him, and even if he added the one extra rak'ah, and you make salam before him, your salah became invalid. Anta min masajin al-imam. You cannot leave salah before him, even if he, stood up for additional rak'ah according to your thought. So it depends on your situation. There are 5 different cases إذا كنت جاهلا أم عامدا أم ساهيا أم متأولا أم متأكدا من الصلاة, depend on in your situation. So there are part of the Sharia and Fiqh that we have to really dig on it. You have to study it. You have to learn. So the one he's leading Salah and the one he's praying, there are obligation in this to learn. Because I remember one time a person, he stood up for the fifth one and he was leading Salah, and he is actually, to be honest, and I have to make it clear, he is a regular Imam. He's the Imam al-Ratib. And he stood for the fifth one. And they made tasbih for him. And he continued his Salah. And after we finished Salah, people asked him, why you continued your Salah? If he said, in my opinion, this is the fourth, that's fine. If he's in opinion that it's a fifth, but I'm doing it to compensate, one of the rak'ah he thought like it's not valid, then he's compensating that, that's fine. But he told him, yes, I knew that's the fifth, but since I stood up, I could not go back. His Salah became invalid and their Salah is invalid. Because you cannot do any action in Salah and you cannot add any action in Salah intentionally. So the moment that he stood up, that he forget, he doesn't know. And then they reminded him, and he's sure that's a fifth one. And he continued. His Salah became invalid. He mixed up with the rules when you stand for the third rak'ah, like in the Salah Ruba'iyah, and the Salah has 4 units, that stood up, that's fine. You go back or you continue. There are debates, about this, depends on the different madahib. That's fine. I'm not talking about this. But he thought that's the same way if I stood up for the fifth one as if I stood up for the third one, when I forget the middle tashahhud. So it's not the same. Now I knew that additional part, and it cannot add any position in Salah intentionally. His Salah became invalid and their Salah became invalid if they get to know what happened from that conversation when he added, the rak'ah. If they didn't know, they're innocent, they didn't know, the Salah, he didn't have to repeat the Salah. But the moment that we're informed that he added something intentionally, then the Salah became invalid. So we have to look at this situation, and we have to learn. And knowledge, it's power, and knowledge is giving you light and better understanding. So especially the knowledge of deen. There are some situations in Salah now more often happen. And sometimes people, they say, no, I'm confused for the sujood al-sahw and for how to fix the Salah. It's the easy way. If I made a mistake, I repeat the Salah. No. Do not do that. First of all, you open the door for shaitan. And that will be a weak point, and always he will tap on it, and always he will come there until you give up. And that will be having a problem for you. And the second, this is not the way of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet, if he made sahu and made a mistake in Salah, he would fix it, not repeat the Salah. So this is very important that we learn about all of these rules. Yes, brother. Yes. For if any person attended with the imam one rak'ah at least. If somebody he came just in the last tashahhud, it's a different story. But if you attended with the imam, even one rak'ah, you are responsible. If the salah of the imam required sujood, then you make sujood with him. If the sujood before salam, then you make the sujood for salam before you stand up to compensate or to make up for the rak'ah that you missed. If the sujood after salam, then you continue your salah, and after you make your salam, then you make that sujood. You get the point? So, generally speaking, you are responsible if you are attended the imam with one rak'ah. Even the mistake was in the first rak'ah that you missed. So there's a sujood, you make sujood. If he made sujood before salam, you followed him with this. If that sujood after salam, after you make up with the rak'at that you missed, then you make your sujood by your own. Okay? And now, if you have not attended with the imam any rak'ah, just you came in the last tashahhud, and if he made sujood and you follow him in that, your salah became invalid. Because that's additional part with no necessity, with no need. If you are ignorant, as the same. Al-Jahilu fi hukm muta'ammid. The one is ignorant in this situation, as the one he intended, to do the action, and both are the same. So you cannot say, oh, I'm ignorant, I didn't know. Is that clear? It's not fiqh. This is just to let you know. I know they have many questions about it. This is not the fiqh halaqah, just a reminder that we need to seek the knowledge. It's very important. And subhanallah, one time the Sahaba, they were in a battlefield. I will end with this story, and then we can ask to discuss that one-on-one. The Sahaba, they were in a battlefield. And that was really cold night. And one of them has a cut in his head where he was bleeding so badly. So he came to Sahaba in the morning and he said, I have wet dream, janaba. What I should do as an alternative? Do I have to make ghusl? Do you have to take a shower? They said, yes, nothing but shower. You have to. You have to wash the entire body. So what he did, he took a shower and he died. The Sahaba, when they came to Rasulullah and was informed, he said, you killed him. You killed him. هَلَّا سَأَلْتُمْ إِذْ جَهِلْتُمْ إِنَّمَا دَوَاءُ الْعِيِّ السُّؤَالِ. You should ask before just rush to answer him. The medicine, the medicine, he said, dawa, the medicine or the treatment of the one who is ignorant is the question. So we should not feel bad to ask. This is our deen. And that's a su'alul wajib. That's a question, it's a must to learn about your deen. So I just give you an example, maybe just to push you a little bit, and make you think, you know what? I thought, I know many of the ahkam al-salah, but no, there are some areas I need to learn more. So I want you to refresh your memory and go and choose like a good book, for ahkam al-salah and read more and more, inshallah. And maybe a good idea that you sit with your brothers or even your kids and read that book. So in one way, you refresh your memory, and at the same time, you pass, maybe good information to others. May Allah bless you all, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the best of understanding. Allahumma allimna ma jahilna wa dhakkirna ma nasina wa faqihna fi dinina wa ja'alna min ibadika as-salihin. Ameen. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. And I'm here for any question, please. Yeah.